So for today on TFC Reviews, we have a BMW. And not just any BMW. We're going to go ahead and step around to the front here. And you'll notice that something missing there, but we won't say exactly which model this is until we get around back. This nice kind of a moon color, but I think they call it Brooklyn Gray. Those nice M rims. And as we get around the back, this is a X-Drive, so all-wheel drive, 40 model. And it's an i4. So with that, if you're not familiar, the I line is BMW's EV line, so all electric, no gas. So the i4, I believe they have an i4, an i5, and an i7. This is the smallest one out of the lineup, but it's super sporty, super fun. No grill, let's get into it. So stepping on inside this BMW i4, the future. Go and close that door. I have to say, it's not too weird. Looking around. Over here to the front seat. Nice beach day, but...
What are our first impressions of the BMW i4? I have to say, it's not bad. Well, it's a BMW. You know, most BMWs, they do kind of have that BMW thing going on. I think, like, it's actually funny. They've updated some things, but, you know, even like these like vents here, you know, they've kind of carried that over in their design language throughout the years. But yeah, it's been actually a while since I've been in a newer BMW, especially from this generation. And yeah, let's go ahead and start her up. Wow, that's very not very dramatic. Not like a internal combustion ICE engine, but it's very quiet, as one would expect from a electric vehicle. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over some of like the driving impressions and some of the features and, you know, just initial thoughts on this quick review for this BMW i4. Basically, from what I understand, it's based off of that 4 Series Grand Coupe. So while it has 4 doors, you know, it's more kind of coupe-like in the back. You know, definitely better for like, you know, 2 passengers versus, you know, kind of like a regular 4-seater sedan. But, you know, there's some space-ish back there. You know, you'll be able to put a couple people back there. But it's actually kind of cool, and I can show that later, because it actually has a lift gate, so you do get a little bit more utility out of it. Going around here, so your typical BMW steering wheel controls, you know, your lane keep assist, actually, what is that? Assisted driving, and some things like with, what's mode do, distance control. Okay, so it flips you between the two. So assisted driving, distance control is going to help you like with, and I didn't check actually if I had to adapt the cruise control or not. Yeah, so different little modes there. You can set, resume. I don't know what lim is. What does lim do? Oh, speed limit control activated, so you can actually, you know, if you start going, you know, if you have a little bit of a heavy lead foot, you can go ahead and set that, you know, so it'll either beep at you or actually might even, you know, not allow you to go over that speed limit. What else? You got your light controls here. You know, standard like memory seats, typical like, you know, things that you would find in a, you know, modern day BMW. It looks kind of janky, actually. I think the panel gaps are kind of, you know, big there, but, you know, well, things aren't like they used to be. But let's go ahead and go through all the menus. So here you got this giant screen, and you know how I feel about giant screens. They're not here for you. They are for cost savings. While people might think they look cool, they do kind of look like the future, but in reality, it's a lot cheaper to do a screen than it is to do gauges and switches and other things that, you know, require additional parts and everything else. So like it's, you know, it's a lot cheaper to integrate everything into a giant screen for the manufacturer. That's why they do them. It's not to like really benefit you. It's to like save costs and maintain profitability. So I said it. I'm sticking to it. But overall, it's pretty responsive. What's nice, it is touchscreen. It does pop up this giant map, here. I'll also say that it's not as intuitive, I don't think. Oh god, that's a lot of buttons. This could take a while, but so we got apps, infotainment. So infotainment's going to give you your Android Auto, your CarPlay, your radio, your messages, I guess, if you have it connected to like BMW and you don't connect it to auto, air, can't talk to CarPlay, XM, your phone. Let me turn this climate control, turn down this fan. Again, I don't like having like all your like HVAC on a screen. It's nice they gave you like 2 buttons, for your radio, volume, track, and then just your defrosters, which I guess like at the end of the day, like those are like the most important things. If you can't see out of your car, it's buried in some menu on a screen, then well, at least they have, physical buttons for that. But again, having to go to like a menu, very low, actually that's weird. Like at very low, it's actually very aggressive. So turn that up. Oh, it's on auto. That's why. No, stop that. Oh my goodness. Typical BMW. Complicated. There we go. Okay. So much better. Got that figured out. Okay. Let's back out of that. So infotainment, let's go to all apps to see what all things we got here. So BMW ID makes it very, you can customize your different settings to yourself. Personal assistant, what does that do? A bunch of stuff that just seems like, I don't know, all I want to do is drive. I don't need all that. Connected drive store. Okay, so there's different apps I guess you can buy now for remote services, maybe some diagnostic. That's $50. That's interesting. Traffic camera information. What does this do? It's almost just like, it's very interesting to me, like what they put in cars, especially from like the luxury cars these days. I'm like, do you need all of this? I just want to drive. I miss the days like I've had, Billy's cars went to the shop this time, but, I've had a few BMWs in the past. Definitely did not have any of these. They had an old 540 and then a 3 Series coupe 330. Stick shift, loved it. But again, as these things get older, they become maintenance nightmares. So both of those had to go away, and now I drive Toyotas. But anyway, let's go through some more of these apps. So BMW Assist, I think that like basically if you have like an issue on the road, it's just kind of like an SOS button or like OnStar. And then charging is going to tell you, I guess this is like for all your charging stuff. And again, this is so complicated. Like, you almost need like a degree in like, I don't know, tech or something to be able to operate all this. There's your climate control, it's some button buried within all these like apps. A digital key, usually you can like program this to your phone or mobile device. So that way you don't have to carry a key around. Displays. So here's your head-up display information. As you remember, like on GMs, they actually have like a physical button over here. You can raise and lower, go through the menus. Here is buried in some screen. Again, I tell you, this stuff's like, it's not for you, but we can go ahead and play around with some of the heads-up display. I think we might be able to see it flickering there in the distance. So if I click up and down, where'd it go? There we go. So you can see it moving up and down. Rotation. I don't know what that really does. Maybe like left and right. Brightness. Is it getting any brighter? For me it is. Maybe in the camera it's kind of flickering a bit. It is kind of nice. You can like slide, here too, versus hitting the plus and the minus. What else does it do? Display speed limit. At least it's like responsive, so that's good. Instrument cluster. So many menus. This is insane. So that's going to do your brightness at night, kind of like, again, which I don't know. Hey, this is, I don't know. That usually this here would like change your brightness. All right, that's for the interior lights, I guess. But this is for your screens. If you go back, what other kind of fun buttons do we have? Doors and windows. A lot of stuff there. Driving settings. This could be fun. Lane departure warning, drivetrain chassis, iconic sounds, energy recovery. What? Oh, this is for your dynamic, what do they call it? Regenerative braking, maybe? So with EVs, just a quick lesson on them. So they use the brakes actually to regenerate energy back into the battery. So they sometimes have like a funny brake feel to them. I didn't really notice it. Like, it actually felt fairly normal, but that's here. You can basically adjust the settings for that, like on how much is actually being regenerated and power back to the battery packs. Here's your so this is BMW here. This is like Sport individual and Eco Pro individual. So what's kind of cool with BMWs is that like you can actually adjust all these things to be individual to you. So you can do like sport, for your suspension settings. You can put them in a comfort or sport setting. Everything's in kind of a comfort setting now. Drivetrain's already it's in sport. And then you got these Eco Pros, which is kind of cool. So like, so you can actually save more on the battery, and get a little bit more, miles or percentages out of your battery pack there. Going back, exterior lighting. Wow, there's so much just shit. Sorry, but there's just so much that you can configure. It's kind of wild to me. Which I guess, like, that's what people want these days. Like, if you spend this much on a vehicle, which I'll get to at the end, I would never buy this thing new, or ever buy one of these. We'll get to that at the end, but a lease, maybe. Interior lighting. Okay, so this is actually fun too at BMW. So you have all this fun like ambient lighting, so you can see that all the way around. This like little blue strip right here. Let's go ahead and change the color. Let's do green. Ooh, look, now we got a nice new green interior. That's exciting. What about rose? Why didn't you change colors? Rose. Wow, that's fun. And so that's a fun little strip that goes, oh, there's only a few. Sometimes you can like configure these things a little bit more, but here it looks like there's only a few. Oh, it's flamingo. This will be fun. This will actually probably show kind of decently, so you can see all that lighting into the back. And then all the way around the vehicle, they have this ambient lighting, which kind of gives you kind of a cool effect. What else? Live vehicle. Oh, so this gives you some live vehicle information as you're driving. So that could be a cool. We'll splice that in, as we go along. Where are we? And then again, just more and more buttons. Let's look here at vehicle. Okay, so that's kind of nice, I think. So it does. Okay, so here's all your apps. Here it breaks up into infotainment. Here it goes into like vehicle. And that's pretty much all things in here on that quick little review. What's also nice is they include this nice big button here, so you don't have to always do the touch screen. This makes it a little bit faster, for your iDrive. Where's back? So it's nice and very responsive. I like this actually better. It's easier to control than to sit there and use the touch screen. Also, I don't know if you noticed, like when I'll try to get a shot, like when we turn the vehicle off, and you can just see all the fingerprints all over the touchscreen. It's kind of gross, but that's touchscreens and like any type of surface that you're going to touch, you're going to run into that issue. Going here into the center console, here's your shift selector. So no more of that, you know, golf club handle. Ooh, it's a bug. Golf club handle thing anymore. It's just this little switch. So what's really nice is the rear view camera. So actually we'll do that again. We'll put it back in park. Okay. And then we'll go and shift it into reverse here, looking at the rear view camera. So you have a bunch of different views here. Nice 360 camera. You know, here, all these different camera angles, little sensors. You know, we're close to that plant, so it's like why there's, you know, these little things popping up. There's a backup assistant. Oh, God. That was freaky. So, let's try that again. Whoa. And then, so basically you have these assistants for if, like, you know, you're just challenged and don't know how to drive a vehicle yourself. But, you know, it might be good for if you're in really tight parking spaces. Let's do that again. That's actually wild. So we're going to hit it again. And so you guys can see it here in the camera. Yeah, it's like possessed. That is the weirdest thing ever. Okay. Because I'm not ready for the future. Anyway, there's a car wash mode. What does that do? Oh, I guess like for getting in, like in between the lines, you know, at the car wash, for the automatic car wash, to make sure that, you know, hopefully you don't rip any of that body work off or anything. 3D view. Oh, wow. That's fun. So you can basically, it creates like a render of your vehicle to show you, you know, basically just this whole 360 view. Again, you guys know how I all feel about all of this. It's just stuff to break. However, as we're getting, like, you know, close to the end of, like, you know, this review, is that, let's remember what we're in again. We're in a BMW. There's so many acronyms for BMW, and it's not just Bavarian Motorwerk. I can't speak it in German right now. It's been a long day. But or, you know, sometimes there's like other ones that, you know, reference, you know, how much money you'll spend on these things, you know, as they tend to age out, which we're, you know, got a nice little list of things that need to be repaired on Billy's, totaling, you know, in the, you know, it's like always like at least $1,000 or $2,000 every time you go to like the BMW dealer. But because this one's electric, and this is like why, like, I would even just kind of consider one, you know, but then it's kind of a hard decision actually, because let's get out of this weird thing. It's this thing like talking to me. Anyway, let's just go back to the screen. So for a lease, I think a BMW, Mercedes, Audi, anything, you know, that's going to like start falling apart, you know, from, you know, the Germans, once you hit like 60, 75,000 miles, then they just make sense to lease. That applies, you know, because at the end of the day, like, you know, they have like all these parts that are like kind of engineered to like, you know, fail. And so, you know, gaskets, suspension components, just like stupid shit. And like at the end of the day, like even like, you know, your windows, like I remember there's a time like when like, you know, the windows like in Volkswagens actually would just like fall down, and it's like, you know, inside the door. It's just like, you know, just stuff that should not be breaking. But for an electric car though, they do kind of make sense. And so I would say like, oh yeah, you know, get one of those. So there's not like, you know, anything to really break, except all the electronics and everything. But there's no like mechanical parts. There's no transmission. There's no engine oil seals or gaskets or anything that are going to go bad. But then you have the battery pack. Yes, our friend, the battery pack. And like anything that has a battery in modern day electronics, we all know, who all has an iPhone, please, or, you know, an Android phone, whatever kind of phone. And, you know, in the comments, please raise your hand, put a comment, you know, add a 1 for a yes, a 2 for a no. Does your battery still hold the same charge as it did on that day one when you first took that phone out of the box? If it does, please tell me, because that's amazing. Like mine, like, you know, started degrading after 6 months, and I did the whole, you charge at the same time of day, you let it go down to like, you know, the, you know, same minimum charging level and you only charge from that level. Well, these electric cars are kind of just like big iPhones, you know, or, you know, big Apple Watches, or, you know, anything that has like an integrated battery these days. And we know those batteries do not last. And we also know that those batteries are very, very expensive. Like in a Tesla, you know, they're around like $20,000 to replace. Even in hybrids, like they have the same issue. Like, you know, their batteries like don't last, you know, they go decent, but, you know, ultimately, like, you know, they need to be replaced. You know, my parents actually, you know, they had a Prius and like they need to replace the battery, and it was like $4,000. You know, and it's like, yes, there's like other components like you're not going to like really worry about. Hybrids, I think, are, you know, they're cool in theory, and like, you know, you get the gas savings and stuff, but it's like, it's another component that is just going to break and cost you lots and lots of money. So from that standpoint, I say go ahead and lease one of these. They're fun. They're super, super fast. I think they're cooler than a Tesla. Like, I don't like this whole big screen thing, but it's on a lease, you know, and who cares, like, if the, you know, thing goes out, like, you know, in, you know, 4 years, because your lease is only 3 years and 36,000 miles, you know, or less. So that's my take on the BMW i4. Get a little ceiling shot in there, nice sunroof. And yeah, let's see what we get on the next one. And this is definitely a fun little treat. And yeah, maybe this will end up in our driveway one day as a lease. See you on the next one.